Residents speak out on next year's budget. Water and sewer rates are going up, and the City Council adopts a new ordinance governing the use of pine straw for landscaping. We invite you to join us now as we take you inside City Hall this week. Hello, I'm Amy Blaylock. Welcome to City Hall this week, dedicated to keeping you informed about what's going on inside Durham City Hall. Despite another economically challenging year, it looks as if the city will finish with a balanced budget. That was the key message coming out of the third quarter financial report shared with the City Council during its May 19th work session. In addition to firming up the end-of-year projections as part of the budget preparation process for next year, Finance Director David Boyd reported on other events that have been taking place throughout the quarter.
We've received most of the property taxes that were billed for. We've also made another accounting-related change to implement a debt service fund to further isolate the property taxes necessary to support our debt. And then most recently on Tuesday, we did issue a little more than $60 million in water and sewer revenue bonds at a very good rate. I think we'll end up saving upwards of $300,000 on debt service projections when we started planning for that debt issuance, which will obviously help the rate picture as we go forward. And as part of that debt process, we also managed to get a ratings upgrade from Moody's on our water and sewer revenue bonds. So now we've got AAA ratings from S&P and Fitch and AA1 from Moody's. So we almost have 3 AAAs on not only the GEO debt, but also on our water and sewer revenue debt.
Boyd also offered an overall snapshot of the general fund for the third quarter.
Compared to the same time last year, revenues are up $6.7 million, or 4.1% versus the same period last year. However, that is still coming in short of our budget expectations. At the same time, expenditures are roughly flat, and fortunately, we've got offsetting expenditure savings to help manage that revenue shortfall. On revenue specifically, property taxes are up $5.4 million compared to the same time last year. That's 4.6%. Obviously, much of that is attributed to the property tax increase that went into effect this year. The building permit revenues are up. There's been some significant projects at Duke. EMC had a big project that they started. The Walmart on MLK has pulled their permits. We've also seen increases in intergovernmental revenues. This is primarily associated with the reinstatement of the beer and wine revenues that was not included in our budget, that was taken by the state last year. And then our sales taxes are up slightly.
As of March 31st, the projections reflected an expected $4.4 million revenue shortfall and an expected $4.4 million expected expenditure savings. The result? A balanced budget. The City Council is now considering input from many of you before it decides whether to adopt the City Administration's proposed $362 million budget. A public hearing was held on the proposed spending plan during the Council's June 6th meeting. The plan calls for a tax increase of 56 cents per $100 of assessed property value for debt service. That increase would raise the annual taxes for the owner of a $150,000 home by $8.40. Final approval of the budget is set for June 20th. Included in that budget will be a rate increase for water and sewer customers in Durham. The City Council approved the increase during its June 6th meeting after receiving a presentation on the proposal during its May 19th work session.
The change in the water service charge, which is a 21 cent increase for the water service charge. Of course, no increase to the volumetric charges for water a 25-cent increase to the service charge for sewer, and a 28-cent increase in the volumetric charge. How that will impact our customers is shown in this table. The Tier 1 customer, the range, of course, goes from using no water to, and of course, if you didn't use any water, of course, we'd have service charges to for them that range. But our typical customer in a Tier 1 is about 91 cubic feet, and they would see a 71-cent increase, monthly increase to their rates. A Tier 3 customer would see a $2.25 increase to their bill. As you can see through the table, the highest increases, of course, are the people would be at the end of the Tier 2, which would be a 4.74% increase, or the lower part of Tier 3, which still would be the 4.7% range for an increase from their current bill.
That rate structure will essentially cover operating costs with some new water and sewer initiatives.
It'll cover the increase for pay per performance, cover the pay-go funding for the CIP, it'll cover all debt service, cover the fleet replacement fund, which is just a smaller amount this year, and the radio replacement fund. And of course, it maintains all our proper debt covenants and maintains all our operating reserves.
The Water Management Department says the new rates will help the city meet its short and long-term goals.
Our rate setting objectives, as always, is sustainability, to be able to cover our operating costs, capital needs, debt service, to be able to repair all our infrastructure and to meet all our regulatory issues that we have. Promote conservation, to prolong and extend our water supplies, and affordability, to make sure that we're having rates that are affordable to our customers, and especially our Tier 1 customers who may have a single income or retired.
The new rates will go into effect on July 1st. Improvements to the North Durham Water Reclamation Facility are progressing, with the unexpected addition of more work to the scope of the project.
The improvements that are currently being made at the North Durham Water Reclamation Facility include the addition of an aeration tank. We're also making upgrades to our ultraviolet disinfection equipment, and we're also making repairs to some concrete that was damaged as a result of hydrogen sulfide gas at our primary treatment facility.
The City Council approved increasing the total construction contract by $190,000 because of additional work that needs to be done related to the damage caused by that gas.
As part of the repair process at the primary treatment facility, when we were repairing the walls as a result of hydrogen sulfide gas, we discovered additional damage to some other equipment that also needed repair that was not part of the original contract. So that's why we had to add additional money, or ask for additional money, so we could make those repairs.
At this point, the project is on track to be finished by September.
The current status of the project here at North Durham is the new aeration basin is online. And currently the new ultraviolet disinfection system is online, and we are in the process of going through a performance test with the new ultraviolet equipment to make sure that it's functioning the way that it needs to function. And the fixes at the primary treatment building are just about complete, and we haven't started the fix to the additional equipment that we found damaged yet, but that should be starting in a month or so.
The entire project is expected to cost $9.9 million. Another significant water management project is about to get underway, this time addressing issues within the city's sanitary sewer collection system. A $2 million construction contract will allow sanitary sewer mains and manholes to be repaired and replaced as needed throughout Durham. The city will use annual inspections, maintenance records, and previously contracted sanitary sewer evaluations to identify sewer pipelines that require partial or full-length replacement. Manholes that have deteriorated or failed will also be repaired or replaced. Durham's sewer collection permit requires the city to repair any known defects in its system. The Durham Workforce Development Board is continuing to make the important links between job seekers and the city's employers. Find out how successful those efforts have been over the past year when City Hall This Week continues.
Did you know that over-fertilizing your lawn wastes money, hurts your grass, and pollutes our reservoirs by feeding problem-causing algae? So if you fertilize your lawn, find out what kind of grass you have and how to care for it. Don't fertilize if heavy rain is forecast, and never leave fertilizer on driveways or sidewalks. Remember, clean water begins at home. A message from the North Carolina Clean Water Education Partnership. Learn more at nccleanwater.org.
Career Expo 2011 is coming to Durham June 21st and 22nd. Make sure your business is there, connecting with professionals. Career Expo 2011 is designed to give your business a chance to recruit and interact during employer development workshops. For registration and more information, log on to durhamworkforce.org. Career Expo 2011, presented by Fox 50 and Durham JobLink.
Welcome back. The Durham Workforce Development Board is continuing its efforts to connect businesses and employment opportunities to those who need them most. The City Council received a presentation on the board's 2010 annual report during its May 19th work session.
The Workforce Development Board is a 27-member board that is appointed by has members appointed by both the City Council and the County Commission. The board oversees, among other things, programs and services, or provides guidance to the staff in overseeing programs and services that are offered through the Durham JobLink Career Center system. Most of the programs and all of the programs and services that receive policy and oversight guidance are housed within the Office of Economic and Workforce Development. And the budget for most of those programs generally is about 80 to 85% federal and about 15% city funded.
With such an important role, and especially in a difficult economy, the board had many goals for the past year.
The first goal is to provide a high level of satisfaction to businesses and job seekers. Basically, what we want to do is, with the business sector, allow them to get qualified candidates, for their company. And with the job seekers, we want to put them in where they want to be and the industry they want to be in. So that's what we're targeting with this. And the second goal was to strengthen the impact and effectiveness of the Durham Workforce Development Board. Basically, we want to communicate. We want to communicate all the programs that we're funding to everyone, which basically we did now with the institution of the new JobLink office that is in Northgate. That was great. We've seen a lot of people, and I've directed a lot of people to that area, and they've experienced an influx of traffic. And I think about relatively like 20% since it's been open, they've experienced a heavy amount of traffic and been able to go there and get some services rendered to them, which is great. And the last one is create a greater continuum of resources. What we want to do is continue to provide services that are necessary to the actual public.
As you would expect, though, supporting those goals with far-reaching programs wasn't easy for much of last year, when layoffs were happening almost daily.
With that came a much greater demand of JobLink resources. In those JobLink resources, we were seeing lines around the corner, outside the door and around the corner of the building. Our foot traffic from 2009 to 2010 essentially increased almost approximately 20,000 more visits, some definitely by repeat visits. But there was just a much greater demand for what the services we provide, as well as tighter resources. We all knew there were federal and state cuts, but as well as we had had the opportunity in 2009 with the ARA or stimulus funding. We spent that. In 2010, that money was all spent, about $1.3 million in additional funds that we had received. So we were operating greater demand on services with less resources.
The JobLink Career Center had more than 2,800 job openings listed last year and over 8,000 job seekers trying to take advantage of those opportunities. With the help of the Workforce Development Board's programs, the center was able to get over 1,900 of those individuals employed at the jobs that were listed. In hopes of adding to the achievements from last year, the board has set many goals for 2011 as well.
In 2011, Northgate is open. We will have the official ribbon cutting that everybody will be invited to on June 20th, 2011. That will kick off a sort of a 3-day career fair, career expo that will be held primarily at Northgate, but other areas throughout the county. That will culminate essentially into a job fair that right now that we are advertising in direct partnership with Fox 50. They're providing resources, again, in a very tight economic time to help us get our message out to job seekers and businesses looking to hire qualified job seekers in Durham. In an effort to, again, to advance those the pipeline efforts that the board is pursuing, as well as that our staff is working on day in and day out to connect these job seekers to the businesses.
For employment information for both job seekers and businesses, visit the Office of Economic and Workforce Development's homepage on the city's website. The Northeast Central Durham Livability Initiative is marking its 1-year anniversary. The initiative is centered on a number of partnerships geared toward creating sustainable communities. Representatives from many of those partners will meet on June 28th to celebrate the 1-year milestone, as well as to kick off the numerous projects planned for next year. There are 4 areas of focus for the initiative: coordinated public transportation, safe and healthy environments, workforce and economic development, and multifunctional community open space. The program was recently awarded a $40,000 grant by the North Carolina Sustainable Communities Task Force. Those funds will go toward implementing sustainable community projects in Northeast Central Durham. A new ordinance could mean big landscaping changes for many buildings in Durham. Find out what they could be when City Hall This Week continues.
When I need you, I just close my eyes and I'm with you, and all that I so wanna give you, it's only a
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Traction control, front and rear crumple zones, anti-lock braking system. For all the modern safety features an automobile has, a motorcycle has none of them. In North Carolina, there were 3,500 motorcycle crashes last year, killing 151 riders. Remember, in order for your helmet to do its job, you need to do yours first. Make sure it's a compliant helmet. For more information regarding training in your area, visit bikesafenc.com.
Welcome back. The Open Space and Trails Commission is continuing to make significant contributions to the overall quality of life in Durham. The Commission presented its 2010 annual report to the City Council during its May 19th work session. The report shows that the Commission had a number of accomplishments in 2010, especially regarding Northeast Central Durham.
We've done a lot of work this year with the communities, Northeast Central Durham, completing the R. Kelly Bryant Bridge, bridging those 2 neighborhoods, Hayti and Northeast Central Durham area over 147. That bridge was opened recently in January. There was a grand opening named for a very well-known party here in the Durham community, R. Kelly Bryant. The other bridges that we are also in the process of finalizing this year and this past year have been the Eno Bridge over the Eno River. We are also in the process of finalizing the last segment of the American Tobacco Trail, which is approximately 22 miles and goes down into the Wake County area. That's become a very popular trail for Durham as well. In addition, we have a lot of volunteers on our board who do various work within the community. The Campus Hills area has recently been updated with nature trail bridges created by Boy Scouts in conjunction with many of our members who actually went out and did bridge construction themselves and trail construction in that area. That will connect up to the Riddle Road Spur, which in turn connects up to the American Tobacco Trail.
For 2011, the Commission has set a number of goals for itself and the city.
I think continuing to really focus on how we could create better partnerships from a financial standpoint and also from a community standpoint. Often I think that we recognize that other agencies are working in conjunction with the community. We'd like to partner with them in a better way to create, I think, what we feel like would be some really fine end products for our trails and greenways.
In an effort to further Durham's transportation connections, the City Council is supporting the proposed bus and rail investment plan for Durham and Orange counties. Council members passed a resolution during their June 6th meeting backing an additional $10 of vehicle registration fees and a 1/2 cent sales tax referendum to support the plan. However, the resolution does include the caveat that those fees and the sales tax should only go into effect in Durham if a transit tax is passed in Orange and Wake counties as well. Here's a look at the projections for how the plan would affect bus service over the next 2 decades.
New bus service by the end of the first year, 25,000 hours. But let me just tell you that, roughly speaking, 2,500 hours is one bus for 1 year. So that's about 10 buses going around providing service in the city. By the end of the third year, 50,000 bus hours, that's about 20 buses doing the same thing. By the end of the plan, in 2035, we're at 77,000 hours. We actually reached that financially by 2033.
And here's what that future rail service would look like.
The rail investments, again, that pass the test of being affordable and also are consistent with the long-range transportation plan in the alternatives analysis that we have done over the last 3 years, include commuter rail that would connect West Durham in the vicinity of Duke Hospital to eastern Wake County via downtown Durham, RTP, Cary, downtown Raleigh, and then the east part of Garner where there'd be a major parking ride lot. That would open in 2018, assuming a vote this year in Durham County.
And what about the light rail component? Here's what it would mean to Durham.
Light rail connecting Austin Avenue with downtown with Duke via 15501 down to the Gateway Center just on the other side of I-40, and from there down 40 to 54, and from there over to the Dean Dome and Chapel Hills Medical Center. 17-mile total system. The Durham portion of it would be $1.05 billion.
In addition to those costs, Durham County would pay over $11 million toward the annual operating cost for light rail. The commuter rail capital cost for Durham County would be $300 million, and the operating cost of commuter rail would be $2.5 million each year. So if a half-cent sales tax is approved, what changes would you see in the first year?
The only thing they would see is additional bus service, but they see about a 16% increase in bus service by the end of year 1.
The Durham County Commissioners could vote on whether to authorize a referendum for a half-cent sales tax by June 27th. Townhomes and apartment buildings that use pine straw as decorative landscaping will soon have to find an alternative. During its June 6th meeting, the City Council approved an ordinance banning the use of pine straw near combustible structures.
The new pine straw ordinance says, in essence, that pine straw cannot be placed within 10 feet of the exterior of a building or an apartment complex or a townhouse that has a common attic area.
Fire Chief Bruce Pagan says those types of buildings will be affected by the ordinance because they are covered by the fire code.
The types of buildings that will be affected by the ordinance are the buildings that we inspect according to the state fire code. Commercial buildings, apartment buildings, the outside of commercial buildings, and the exterior of apartment buildings and townhomes. This does not apply to residential homes such as single-family residences and duplexes. And the reason it does not apply is because the fire code does not apply to those buildings, and we cannot enforce the fire code on residential single-family homes and duplexes.
Chief Pagan says the ordinance was needed because of the significant threat the use of pine straw poses to properties where multiple units are connected.
The reason that pine straw ordinance amendment is going into effect is because we want to minimize the chance of structures igniting due to the flammability of pine straw.
The new ordinance goes into effect on July 1st.
What we'll do to help get the word out, we're going to develop a form letter that's going to be sent to all of the businesses, and we'll have in that form letter, we'll outline the important points of this ordinance, Of course, we're going to have our fire inspectors and our firefighters will be aware of the ordinance, and they'll be able to share information and inform business owners as well. And we will put out a media release that'll be distributed to all of the media outlets. So those are the ways that we'll get the word out.
Fire officials will also be happy to answer any questions directly that residents or business owners may have about the new ordinance. For more information, call 560-4242. Working for the same employer for 10 years is impressive. Staying with them for 35 years is almost unheard of these days. But not for the City of Durham. We'll introduce you to some city employees who are being honored for just that type of longevity when City Hall This Week continues.
When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Butler residents? Everything that gets into our storm drains, soap, pesticides, pet waste, whatever, makes its way straight to our streams and into where you swim, what you drink, and where you fish. Stormwater runoff is our biggest source of water pollution. You're the solution now that you know where it goes.
Welcome back. The job of a city employee isn't always easy. That's why in this We Care segment, we're going to take you to a recent recognition service for those employees who've been serving Durham's residents for between 10, 25, and yes, even 35 years. We applaud them for their longevity, but more importantly, for a job well done.
For your service to the City of Durham, we pause today in order that we may pay tribute to you in recognition for your milestones of time and service, and for those of you who have reached the milestone of retirement. This is not just a handshake for surviving a period of time. It is a recognition that your milestone has been reached, having contributed invaluable services so that all of us experience a greater Durham.
I continue to be amazed at the number of certificates that I sign each year, recognizing those employees that have committed their lives to the service of the City of Durham at 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 48 plus years of service that many of you have given.
It is an acknowledgement of the commitment to excellence that you have made, so that when we speak of Durham, we do so proudly. We honor all of your contributions, for regardless of what they were or have been, we value them as equal in importance, and we thank you for it.
35 years of service. What an accomplishment. I am certainly honored to recognize a level of commitment to the city that is way beyond the norm.
I want to say how grateful we are to all of you who have contributed 30 years of service to the City of Durham. You have stayed the course. You have helped us navigate through troubled times and through happy times.
Rhonda and I are deeply honored to recognize the employees with 20 years of service to the City of Durham. Your dedication and hard work are indeed an inspiration to all of us.
Whether you've been here for 5 years or 35 years, you are part of what makes this organization great. And I thank you and appreciate your commitment to the culture of service that we are trying to build in our building in this organization.
That does it for this edition of City Hall This Week. Be sure and visit DTV8 on Facebook and Twitter to find out how you can tune into this show, City Life, and all the city's programming. You can also find us on demand on the city's website at durhamnc.gov/DTV8. I'm Amy Blaylock. Thank you for joining us for City Hall This Week.